It's over now and there's fresher air for breathing. Oh, how we romanticize the pain.
My name is Diana Ennis. I am the director and co-founder of the Heartland Song Network. We are a Kansas nonprofit whose mission is to elevate the art of the song and songwriting through education, collaboration, and mentorship. And for April 2021, our artist of the month is Kate Whitefield. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you.
Jazz hands. Woo! By way of introduction, let's tell the folks where you're from, and if you're not from Kansas City, where you're from originally, and what your original music influences are. Are they your parents? Just kind of your 411 to start with.
All right. Well, I am from Kansas City. I was born here. Lived in Prairie Village when I was little. Now I live in Leawood. And as far as like influences go, I think my parents always just say that I just started singing when I was little. So that's kind of hard to say, but my parents have definitely always encouraged me. They're not particularly musical themselves. My dad does really appreciate music, like he's really into listening to it and all that kind of stuff. But he was never like in a band. He's never written songs. Same goes for my mom. So yeah, I think it was pretty natural, I guess, for me. But the support and encouragement from my parents definitely helped.
Well, that's great. I mean, I can tell just by what the little interaction I've had with your mother to get, permission to have you join us and participate in our activities, that she's definitely on your team and
100%.
on your side and wants us to continue. So as I recall, you reached out to me by virtue of the fact that I have a radio show on KKFI, and you had a new record or a new single that you had released. Why don't you tell our viewers how that song came to be, and how did you know that KKFI even existed, or to know to reach out to radio to promote your song?
So I started recording the song. The song is called New Year's Song. And I started recording it in November of 2019. I had written it, I don't even know when I wrote it. I wrote it so long ago. But I think the fact that I had written it a long time ago kind of gave me the confidence and the assurance, being like, okay, I know this is like a song that I'm proud of, and I'm ready to like record it and everything. So I started recording it in November of 2019, and then I put it out in January of 2020 because, New Year's song, kind of fitting. And I guess I just kind of started looking up like radio stations in Kansas City that I could just send it to. And I sent it to KKFI, and you were one of the people that reached out, which was so awesome because look how much has come from it. I wouldn't have joined Heartland if I hadn't gotten in touch with you. So.
And when you casually say, oh, I recorded it, and then I decided to put it out. So how and where did you record the song?
I used Meridian Sound Studio, which is a studio in, I'm not even sure where it is. It's been a long time since I've been there, but it's Warren Juergens' home studio. And I found that through Porch Fest, Kansas City. I've performed there for several years. And one year they put in like little coupons that was like, get $15 off for being a Porch Fest artist at Meridian Sound. And so I was like, okay, might as well. So that's how I found that. And then we just spent, I think we had maybe 2 to 3 2-hour sessions to record the song. I wrote the song, I sang the song, and I am just not the best pianist. So while I had my own piano recordings of the song, I didn't really feel like they were up to par with what I wanted to do. So we had another guy play piano, and he was awesome. His name was Michael Ball, and he did a really great job with that. So that all kind of came together, and then I distributed it through CD Baby in January.
So at 16, you've already figured out, basically how to record, how to produce, how to master, how to distribute.
To a degree, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so is this all self-education, or is there any curriculum that you're being offered in school? that would teach you these things, or?
Not necessarily these things. I mean, I'm in the choir class at school, so that's singing. But I it's kind of just figuring it out as you go. And like, I mean, I have a great support system of people who support me. For example, my cousin helps me with CD Baby at first. He showed me how to like put all my information in, and he helped me with like choosing the pricing options and all that stuff. So that was really great of him. And it's just been kind of like a step by step process, like kind of jumping over each hurdle as you get to it, you know?
You're so young, but you seem to have such a mature ear in the people, a very tasteful selection of who it is that you're covering. For instance, Joni Mitchell, Vampire Weekend. It's very kind of an eclectic mix of artists that you seem to be tuned into. So who are you listening to right now? Who is it that's floating your boat, your
Um,
musical boat?
and see, that's why that's such a good question. That's such a common question, and it's so hard to answer because I really don't have like one artist that I'm listening to. It's all sorts of random stuff.
Yeah, I never can answer that question either.
I guess right now, like in the recent weeks, I've been listening to a lot of Wilco and this band called the Innocence Mission. I don't know if you know of
I
them.
don't know them. The Innocence Mission. I'm making a note right now.
I don't know, I just found one of their songs and I liked it. So I've just been kind of casually listening to their albums. Um, but yeah, there's never really it's so hard because it's like maybe I'll like two or three songs from one artist and I think, okay, like I like that artist, but some people who are like super like hardcore invested into the artist would be like, no, you don't even know the half of it. So it's hard to say like it's just a hard question to answer, I guess.
I think that you may find over time that their tastes may change.
It'll evolve.
And as
Yep.
long as you're open to that, I think that that'll be a good thing. Do you have specific musical training? I mean, are you taking lessons? Have you taken lessons?
Yes, I took piano lessons when I was younger. And like I said, that didn't really stick for me.
But that was your first instrument?
Yes, yeah, it was. And then I took guitar lessons, and I am currently taking voice lessons and have taken voice lessons for a long time.
Well, let's talk about your guitars and your gear. I mean, I've been looking at your the videos on Instagram, and you have some beautiful instruments. Your acoustic guitar, you've got a Hofner bass, if that's yours.
Mhm.
What is your electric guitar? How are you coming to decide what gear to get? Are you
Well,
looking
I'm
for a particular sound, or are these gifts, or what's happening with the
They're
gear?
mostly gifts from my grandparents who are also extremely, extremely supportive. So my that amp back there, I've had that for a while. And it's just kind of a random amp, but that was from them. That electric guitar, it's a Gretsch.
I thought that
The,
might be a Gretsch, the big body, the big.
yep, yep. The acoustic Taylor, and then the Hofner is technically my sister's, but she played bass for a while, and it didn't really stick for her. So I kind of pulled that out during quarantine, trying to kind of mess around with it. But yeah, that's all from them.
Have
From
you
my,
had specific mentors yet that are specifically kind of taking you under their wing, whether it's for songwriting or playing?
um,
You're pretty self-directed.
yes, I do tend to be pretty self-motivated, but I have a lot of people that inspire me in different areas. For example, I'm a part of an organization called Stage Right Performing Arts. I'm like a student there, and so basically it's a show choir um, that I'm in, and then in the summers they do musicals. And so I take voice lessons from Donna West, who is the creative director of that company, and she's been awesome helping me um, just for years and years with, even though she's not really more of like the songwriting type, like that's not really what she teaches. It's more like musical theater stuff. She's always there. I can always play her my songs and she'll give me her advice, and she's so awesome. I have my cousin she lives in Utah, and she writes songs and she's in a band. And so I've been really happy that this past year I've kind of got to connect with her a little bit more just through quarantine, since everything's, online anyway. I've gotten to like share some music with her and that kind of thing. So that's been fun. Definitely not, I wouldn't say that I have like one specific person that's like a mentor, but lots of people have been helpful throughout different creative processes. The guy that I'm recording the EP with right now, Tom Potasek at Surreal Sound, is awesome. And every musical teacher that I've ever had has been awesome, seriously.
It seems to me that the original music that I've heard from you is fully formed, and you definitely have your own point of view. So what is your songwriting process?
Songwriting, it kind of goes back and forth, and it kind of changes up. I tend to take notes on my phone and voice memos a lot. Like I have a couple voice memos just from the last few days that I'll just like come up with in the car or whatever in the shower, whatever. Um, and what I tend to do is like piece them together over time. So if I have a verse or like a potential chorus that I've written, it might sit in my phone for months before I'm finally like, oh wait, like I think I could add it here, you know? Rarely do I ever sit down and think, I'm gonna write a song. Usually, if I do have my guitar in my hand, that'll happen because I'm trying to work on something else and I'll get bored of whatever I'm working on and just like start writing. Um, but there's definitely a lot of like piecing together over time. And sometimes it starts with the guitar, like I said, if I'm just sitting there and I get bored. And a lot of times it starts with melody or lyrics. So it's really a inconsistent process.
How are you getting through this pandemic personally and performance wise? I mean, is your life totally upside down and different than it was from a year ago?
Yeah, I think the hardest part of it has been the lack of live performance opportunities for like with guitar and my own singing and covers and stuff, because I was going into 2020 really feeling like this was going to be my year to kind of branch out and perform my own music more. And I mean, I turned 16 and I've been like, I got a car this past summer. So I'm like, yes, like I can drive myself, like I can kind of be independent in that sense. And that just wasn't able to happen. So that's been definitely been disappointing. And I think that having my Instagram account has been great to like, you know, as motivation to post and like, you know, keep putting stuff out there. Same with YouTube. And yeah, just it's definitely been hard, but I think music is a great hobby to have when in a situation like this, because you're never without it, you know. I always have my guitar, and even if I don't have my guitar, I can just sing. So
Well, let's talk about that word hobby for a moment. You are of an age where it's really not, I'm not going to say it's not appropriate for you to have a career, because there are certainly individuals out there your age that are making a living already with their families in music. Do you consider it a hobby now, and is it your intention or your desire to turn it into your vocation later? Is this what you want to do?
to a degree, yes. Like I want whatever that I do to incorporate music in some way. So whether that's something that I've thought about before is like music therapy, or even if it can't be something like that that directly involves music, I always want to be in a position where I can continue to do music like on the side, you know? I want to be able to like, if I have to go to a day job, I want to do that, and then I want to be able to go out at night and perform. So you're right, hobby, it doesn't feel like the right word, because I definitely think I'm pretty committed and pretty into it for it to be a hobby, but it's also not a career because I am 16. So
Right. Well, I mean, the fact that you are already a generative artist, and that it's most likely, if you've got the skill set and the desire to create original content now, you'll probably be able to do it as long as you want to, as long as you choose to. I heard you say what you're working on now. You're working on an EP now. Is that right?
yeah.
What's the plan for that?
So I actually had I was at the studio earlier this morning, and we started on I was planning on it being the last song. Who knows? I might change my mind and add another one, but basically it's going to be 3 or 4 songs, and they're all original that I've written within the past few years, and I'm hoping that it'll come out later this spring, more likely summer, just because, it's very like anxiety inducing, especially with without having live performance. One of the things that I've been trying to do is be more open to putting my own original music out there, but it's so hard when you're not like in the room and you can see people's reactions. And I think that's why I don't post my original stuff as much on like my Instagram or my YouTube or something, because I like to get the raw reaction. And so that's definitely been like I wish that I would have had this last year to kind of play these songs for coffee house crowds, and see what they think, and see what initial reactions are. But you can't have that. You can't have that. So we're just going for it.
Yeah, I think that a lot of artists were kind of at the beginning of a project or in the middle of the project when the pandemic hit, and everything kind of literally shut down. And so there has to be a pivot. There had to be, if not a paradigm shift, at least a pivot in, practically what you were going to do and how to get this music out. So you do your own booking?
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you like doing that, or is that just?
I genuinely love like writing these emails, and my dad says like my language is much too flowery. Like I'll be like just kind of doing the most when I could probably just stick to the basics. But I love writing these emails and reaching out to people, and there's been a lot less of that this last year, obviously. And a lot of times, I don't get a response. So I was extremely happy when I got your response last year, when I sent that stuff to KKFI. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good practice for me, like, kind of putting myself out there and advocating for myself, because I can't see myself ever having, I don't know, like a manager or something. Like I feel like I am capable of doing that kind of stuff myself to a degree. So I think it's good practice for me to do it now, and kind of advocate for myself in that sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that don't be disheartened by the folks that don't respond to you. I mean, I'm an old hippie, I guess, but I think things happen for a reason, and if someone's supposed to make a connection with you, they will. And I am on a community radio station, and I am a volunteer. And when you're talking about commercial radio or people that are being paid to do it, I can only imagine the number of submissions that they get in a week. I get dozens and dozens of submissions a week, both hard copies of CDs and solicitations, like just emails unsolicited. But what struck me about yours, and the reason I responded was there were a lot of reasons. Number one, you were local. Number two, you indicated that you thought it would be a good fit, and which told me that you probably maybe dug into my show a little bit and saw what I was doing and that it would be a good fit. And you personalize the email, which is really, really important. I mean, I get, like I said, dozens of them a week, and you can tell they've been the same email is being sent to a couple of hundred people. So anything that you can do to personalize it is always a good thing, and to follow up. Don't take a non-answer, or take no for no. But if you don't get an answer, or maybe kind of a maybe answer, follow up. And if you meet somebody, like at Folk Alliance through the Folk DJ reception or whatever, follow up is really, really important. So, if you are comfortable with email and communicating in that way, you're going to do just fine, because, that's the way it's done right now.
Thanks for that feedback. That's good. That's good to know that that's what you liked about that.
Yeah. So you participated in Folk Unlocked and Folk Alliance for the first time this year. How was that as an experience, a first time experience for you? Because it's the first time it was virtual, so it was the first time in a lot of respects for people. But how did you find the whole process?
It was great. Honestly, I was definitely like nervous before going on that first stream, because I had never done it before. Like I'd never done any kind of.
Well, we hadn't either, so.
Yeah, I was like, oh geez, like what if my technology messes up, or what if I just sound horrible through the monitor or whatever. But by the second night, I was like, oh, that was easy, and it was great. I got to connect with a lot of different people, and I tried my best to find people my age, like through that, when you can go on like the attendees search page. I tried to look at keywords that might that I might find people similar to me. Um, and so I found, I got to reach out, and I'm now friends on Instagram with this girl who lives in New York. She's a blues artist. She's awesome. And this Canadian duo is now like one of my sister's favorites, because I was like, I listened to one of their songs and I told my sister, hey, I think you would like this. And now she plays it all the time. So that's kind of fun. Knowing that
What was your expectation for Folk Alliance? What did you think or want to happen?
I had no idea. And I was really surprised by how easy it was to connect with people. I didn't really realize that that would be an option. Except for like, I figured, okay, well, if someone, comes on your live stream, then sure, they're connecting with you. But I didn't really realize all the like networking that you got to do beforehand, and afterwards, like outside of your own performance. So that was really interesting. And I think if I were to do it again, I would definitely take advantage of that more. I kind of learned that. I was like, okay, I would probably start reaching out to people sooner.
Well, you've also participated in the COVID collaborations for the Heartland Song Network, and you are one of the artists that will be featured in the Carole King tribute on the 50th anniversary of Tapestry. How have you found the collaboration events? How do you like to do that? Has it been odd having to do it all virtually? Is collaboration something that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think it's about like finding people who kind of have the same mindset as you as far as like music goes. So I've been in like bands in the past, like when I was younger, and that was so fun. But I've never really had like a lasting situation like that. So getting to do these collaborations has been really awesome, because I mean, you said you recognize this room. This is where I am pretty much all the time. So it was really cool to get to meet somebody, and like I did with the summer collaboration, get to pull from her ideas and mine and like create something. And doing it virtually was honestly even cooler, because it was like, wow, like we met up I think twice. And other than that, it was all virtual. So that was really cool. And then with the Carole King thing, I mean, I love Carole King, so that was totally awesome.
Well, and the thing I loved about the collaborations is that you did not choose who you collaborated with. We did. We went out of our way to pair people that didn't know each other, that probably weren't in the same genre, maybe not in the same generation either, and so we didn't know what was going to happen, but we were so happy with the results, and the feedback was pretty positive. So I'm glad that was a positive experience.
It was a blast. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Um,
How about the Carole King thing? You went in, that was not your first experience in a recording studio?
it wasn't my first experience in a recording studio, but it was so cool. I never had done video and audio, so that was my first experience doing like a professional video. So that was really cool. They were super organized, super on top of it, and that was really fun. I think something that I would give snaps to Heartland to is their communication. I was never wondering what was happening with any of this stuff. Felt like I was always well informed, and that's been really awesome. And just being on the email chain with all those women from the Heartland, or for the Carole King thing, I never met any of them, but I can just tell that they're the sweetest people, because everyone's so equally excited about the project.
Your music that you've written so far, is it real personal to you? Is there any kind of a social or political bent to it, or how would you describe generally the songs that you're writing?
I think I pull from all over the place. From myself, from like I said, if I'm in the car driving and there's rain on the windshield, I'm like, record something about that. Or my friends a lot of the time. I feel like I'm kind of at a point where people my age all have super different experiences. We're all like technically in the same place, like we all go to school. We're all like, thinking about college, learning to drive, whatever, all that stuff. But everyone is in such a different place in other areas. So I've gotten to kind of pull from my friends' experiences, and sometimes movies or books or something like that might make me think of a song to write. But really just like walking down the street, see something that you can write a song about. I mean, Sometimes it's nothing deep and it's just like a simple, whatever, a song about a flower. And then, of course, other times there's the bigger picture to look at, like what's happening in the world, like with the pandemic. That was a great source of inspiration for a lot of things. Or I wrote a song about George Floyd's death last May, so there was that to kind of pull from too, and how that. And I would put that in the personal category because that was definitely how it affected me. But just different things like that. Really, literally anything.
The Heartland Song Network, what can we do for you as a young artist that's just starting really your lyrical life or your musical life? You've been a member essentially since we started. What can we do for you? What would you like to see an organization like this be able to provide someone like yourself?
For me personally, it's the performance opportunities that are big for me. I love to perform, and getting to do that, I feel like that does a lot for me, whether it's, exposing new people to my music, or providing me content to post on whatever social media. So personally, that's like what I love, as well as just the continued collaborations.
But feel free moving forward, if you feel like you need something that we might be able to provide to you in terms of a connection or a contact or a resource, just reach out to us and let us know.
That's awesome.
And we'll do what we can. It's been such a lovely experience to talk to you. I'm very, very much encouraged what the status of the singer-songwriting scene is in Kansas City when I know there's folks like you in it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Right, you're welcome.
I feel the same way, knowing that there's people like you who exist to encourage and support the arts.
I look forward to meeting you in person, and I so want to meet your parents. Well, have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nostalgia comes around this time. It's New Year's again. Bring out that dress you always wear, the one he loves to see you in. Oh, you're getting older, and you'll never feel this good